Okay. Well, hello everyone. This is another one of our Chalk Talks for the 2023-2024 season. And tonight, Hang Tough has Katelyn Pavey joining us, which we're really excited about, Katelyn. I know I've talked to a number of our coaches and some of our teams have gone to your movie I Can earlier this year, and I've only heard positive feedback from them. Everybody's really enjoyed it and they're looking forward to meeting you at our clinic coming up on the 24th of this month. Um, Real quick, guys, if everybody can,
I'm trying.
everyone can.
What?
I'm going to mute these. All right. So if everybody can please just mute their side, that would be good, and that would cut down on distractions during this process. All right. So, as I was saying, the virtual Chalk Talks is an opportunity that Hang Tough believes in. We invite, guests from all over the country, either former alumni from Hang Tough that have gone on to play in college and that are contributing, like in coaching or any other ways. We, have had other anywhere from D1, D2, D3, NAIA, community college kids on this program, current players and former, as well as college coaches and professional athletes. This year we had Sierra Romero, Alyssa Denham, Rachel Garcia, and we've had Morgan Zirkle and others in the past. So it's always great to interact with them. But the best part of it is that every time we do one of these, something new comes up, and it just helps inform the kids and the families on maybe everybody's journey is a little bit different. Everybody's recruiting process is different. Everybody's had different challenges. So it's great to hear from everyone and how they became successful, that work ethic, the drive, and how it happened to help
Yeah.
inform everybody. So, Caitlin, I'm going to go ahead and get started. And I'm going to mute again. All right. So hopefully, I'm going to keep this up on my screen so I can just do it real quick if it pops up again. So, Caitlin, if you could give us a little introduction of yourself, tell us a little bit about you and maybe just, in general, where are you from?
Well, I'm from Lanesville, Indiana. It's a small town about 15 minutes west of Louisville, Kentucky. If you have not noticed or from the movie, I may look a little different than some people. I have red hair. You can laugh. No, but
Yeah.
if you did not see the movie or anything, I was born with one arm. It's called phocomelia. Doctors called it that. Just basically meaning that I was born with half an arm right to my elbow, and it left me with a small hand and two digits. Um, so I am currently 25 years old. I just recently got married this past September, and now I'm working at the National Fast Pitch Coaches Association in Louisville, Kentucky. And what we do, if you're not already a member, what we do is we help travel ball, high school, college coaches. We just grow the game of softball. We just try to, give education and tools that you can use for your teams and just continue to grow the game.
Awesome. Yeah, congratulations on getting married this summer.
Thank you.
So we're going to start here with your humble beginnings, and just talk about like when did you start playing softball, and who or what inspired you to play.
So I started playing softball at a very young age. I was 3 years old. My dad was my first t-ball coach, and it just kind of happened from there. He told me a story when I was younger. He said I was 9 months old. I just got out of the tub, and he had a little squishy ball, and he laid me on the floor. And he's like, "Why not? Let's try something." I mean, he was a sports guy. He grew up with two brothers that played sports, and he always wanted a kid to play sports. So he dropped the ball, and to his surprise, I caught it. And he was like, okay, that's pretty good. So he did it again, and I caught the ball again. So at the age of 2 years old, he went to Walmart and he bought one of those Velcro gloves, um, just to help me with my hand-eye coordination and getting me to catch and throw. So when I was 3, I started playing t-ball, and I have what's called a glove transfer. So I have my glove here. I put my glove on my right hand, and I tuck it under my short arm. I grab it out and I throw it. But when I was first starting out, that's not how I did it. Um, I would catch the ball, I would throw the glove on the ground, step on it, pick it up, and throw it. And you all know that's way too slow to play competitive softball to even get somebody out at first base. So I spent countless hours with my dad in the backyard perfecting my game. I had to learn how to adapt to different obstacles and adversity that was in my way to try to play the game at the level that I wanted to be at. So I developed that glove transfer. I was recorded 0.2 seconds slower than somebody with 2 arms. So my arm speed makes up a lot of that time lost. So I did that, and just continuously. Like I said, I was continuously in the backyard, like every single day after school. That's what I did. That's what I wanted to do.
Oh, that's awesome. So, what positions did you play when you were like, say, youth softball? Did you play everywhere?
In youth softball, being a coach's daughter, um, I learned how to pitch. So I was a pitcher, and I also played first base. So that was whenever I was younger. And then when I got into high school and to college, I played outfield, and I was a center fielder.
So why the outfield? And I want you to. The reason I'm asking is that we have a lot of young kids, like say 10U, 12U, 14U, and some of them they think it's really boring in the outfield. But I keep, I always tell our girls that when you get to high school and you get older, that is
That's
where
where all
all
the
the
ball.
action is at. Yep,
Yeah,
exactly.
and outfielders save games. Um, well, I was told by in the recruiting process. I know that's one of the questions you asked.
Yep.
Um, I was asked, why don't you try outfield? And I was playing pitcher and I was playing first base because I thought that was the prime positions that I could get recruited at. And the coaches saw quality in me that, maybe if you tried outfield with your speed and with what you have, I think that you can get recruited that way. And I started perfecting my game, perfecting my skills, learning how to play outfield because I really wanted to go to college and play. So I took their advice and I love it. I wouldn't trade it for the world. I love making cool plays, throwing people out.
Oh, that's very cool. How tall are you?
I am 5'4".
5'4", and size really doesn't matter, does it?
It does not matter. And it
Yep.
doesn't matter if you're missing a limb either.
Yep. Yeah, it's amazing, and like your story, your dad continuously telling you, say I can. We have so many regular players, I mean, just girls every day that are saying that, I can't do it, or they give up on things too quickly and move on to the next task if say if they're having any difficulty or if they're struggling with a challenge. And obviously you're very inspiring that you've overcome a lot of challenges that you've developed and you've worked really hard to become one of the best in the game. So I think it's a really cool story, and I appreciate that about you.
Thank you.
um, so what was your transition to high school? What was your high school team like? Was it a good team, or a lot of times kids will be on a travel team that's really good, or their high school team might struggle, or maybe it's really good. What was your high school experience like?
When I was a freshman, I was playing with a lot of girls. Some girls played travel. I would say about 3 or 4. The rest of them had no softball experience besides school ball. So I was playing with them, but I was playing under different coaches at the time, and I would have even teammates. Like going through softball when I was younger, and then in high school, I'd always have those people that either doubted me and just gave me a hard way. For example, I had this one teammate who really saw me as a threat on the team. And as a freshman, I looked up to all the seniors. I wanted to be like them, and I wanted to have a starting position. And she just did not want that. And one day I was up to bat, and this was before the season even started, and it was at practice. I went to bunt, and she threw it right at me in the hand. I broke my thumb, so I ended up not being able to play in the first season of high school softball. But then going to my second year, my dad actually took over the program with my grandpa, and we still had a lot of kids that didn't have a lot of travel ball experience, just had school ball experience. But we worked through that, and as a team, we had a goal in mind when it came to sectionals and regionals and trying to get those goals. My senior year of high school, we had the best team that we formulated. We had kids willing to buy in. When I mean to buy in, it's you say yes, coach, to everything. If coach wants you to be a base runner, okay, you do it. If coach wants you in the outfield, okay, you do it. And that's how we formed a good team. We had each other's back, and we ended up beating the number one reigning champions in sectional that nobody thought we would ever beat. I mean, we had the crowd. I mean, we had to stop the game. We had to pause it 30 minutes before it even started because there was people coming in trying to watch this game, and they already made their sectional shirts thinking that they were going to win. And we ended up, that was the one team goal. We ended up winning that sectional, and that was huge for us because in the end, like we believed that we could do it, and we had each other's back, and we just bought into what we wanted to do as a team.
Yeah, that's a awesome experience. So, a lot of good memories. It looks like just from your face smiling about it.
Yeah,
So,
it is
and
great memories.
not too many players get the opportunity to play both for their dad and their grandpa on
I
a
know
team.
3 generations on one field is pretty cool. I'd
Yeah,
always love seeing my grandpa at first base and my dad at third. So
yeah, that's really cool. Did your grandpa play ball in school too, like
yes,
baseball or?
and man, I wish I could see that. I hear stories about him playing. He was a catcher, and he was pretty good for what I was told.
Yeah, well, that's cool. What's your favorite nickname? Is it Big Head or Lefty
No,
or?
I don't even. My dad has the bigger head than I do. I would say lefty. A lot of people call me KP, just because my
Yeah,
initials of my name. So I was always referred to as KP by all my teammates and most of my coaches. My dad's the one that called me lefty.
yeah. No, that's a cool nickname. Um, so then in high school, obviously, what kind of what kind of accomplishments did you have as an individual on the team?
So I had goals and I had a goal board that I wrote on every single day that I wanted to accomplish. Um, and I wanted to do this by the time I graduated high school. And my senior year, I wrote it out. I wanted to be an all conference player. I wanted to be an all state player. I wanted to hit my very first home run. And I wanted to sign to play somewhere to play college ball. And I'm proud to say my senior year of high school, I hit my first home run. I was an all conference player. I was MVP of my conference. I was an all state player, first team all state player. I was the first male or female out of my high school in any sport to be an all state player. And I was the first limb different athlete in the state of Indiana to go and play in the North versus South All Star game. And I signed a full ride scholarship to play at Cincinnati Christian University.
Pretty awesome, pretty awesome accomplishments, and I think it's really cool that you were, writing those goals down and keeping them in front of you, reminding yourself. I think that's a great habit to be in for any young person, whether they're in sports or not. So I think that's really cool. Um, so yeah, you were what, a 3 year captain and leadoff hitter for your team,
Yes.
and you batted 600 average in high school, 750 slugging percentage, and on base percentage of 670%. So, I mean, that is phenomenal. Plus, they said that you led the team in more than 10 statistical categories, um, you know, for your softball team. So that is amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah, great job. Um, so then from there, so did Cincinnati Christian, they see you at a camp, or was it at a softball tournament that they just happened to run across you in your recruiting process?
I saw them at a camp. So I played with a girl who was committed to play for them, and she was on my same travel ball team, and I played with her for many years. And he was coming to this camp. I went to. It's called Blue Chip Camp. You guys have it in Michigan, but it was in Kentucky. It was by a man named Vernon Bibb, and I was going there ever since I was in the seventh grade. And so, mind you, this was my junior year going into my senior year, and coach, his name's Corey Gardner. He was there recruiting. He was actually recruiting a pitcher and a catcher duo. So he wasn't looking for anything else but a pitcher and catcher duo. And his assistant was at an opposite field where I was at, and I was doing some outfield relays and things. And she called him up on the phone and didn't say anything about me having one arm. And she was like, "Hey, you need to come down here and see this girl. It's pretty amazing," he said. "But I already told you I was here just to recruit a pitcher and a catcher. Like, I'm not leaving this field." And she said, "No, you need to come." And he said he left the field and he came and saw me play. And right afterwards, he came up to me and he said, "I don't care if you have one arm, no arms. If you can play ball, you can play ball." And for someone to believe in me that much meant a lot, because I did not have that the entire recruiting process. I mean, I was going to these camps, playing in front of many college coaches, and I would always have a but. I would always have, coaches saying, "I would love to have you on my team, but I don't know how to coach a girl with one arm," or "I don't know how my players would react to having a teammate with one arm," and nobody would ever give me a chance. And this wasn't just in, college. It happened all throughout my playing career, and all these obstacles of people doubting me and saying that I couldn't do it. And then meeting Coach Gardner and having him see my potential and see what I could do made me really want to go play for him and show people that I could play.
Yeah. And I think that's a good point for all of the young girls or any girl that's out there trying to accomplish their goal. If you have people that aren't paying attention to you, or obviously they're not supporting you, or they say we've talked to a number of people that their high school coaches were negative, or would say that you'll never make it to the highest level, or put you on the bench and maybe your third string there. But then you get a college scholarship, and then you go on and you achieve. don't don't give up on your dreams. Always pursue and believe in yourself. And I think that's what you did. You worked through it. You kept putting in the work and you believed in yourself, and you got that opportunity, which is awesome. So that kind of experience. So it was a camp, and they saw you on the field, and then you got this offer. And it sounds like you went to other camps and talked to other college coaches through the process as well. Were you targeting, say, a school at a camp, or you going and visiting some schools?
I was looking at the schools I was looking at was a smaller Christian university. I wanted to go to a school where I wasn't just a number. Importantly, being a student athlete, student comes before athlete. I was looking for somewhere where I could get the help in the classroom that I needed. I could be personable with my teachers, my professors, and then softball would follow afterwards. But I just wanted to stay close to home, where my family, because family is a big part of me. So where my family could come watch me play, that was easy and accessible. Somewhere that was small, like I said, and not too big, and somewhere where I could be a great student before an athlete.
That's great. You had a checklist of the
I
items
did.
that you were looking for. That's good.
I did, and I decided that I wanted to play college softball at the age of 10 years old. And so that checklist happened when I was 10 years old. My dad sat me down and he said, "Okay, if you really want to do this, you have to understand you're going to be missing those birthday parties. You're going to be missing those things with your friends. You're going to be sacrificing a lot of time to the sport, if you want to go out there and that's your goal, if you want to play college softball. So we made that checklist. We had the yes side and we had the no side, and we listed all these schools, and what personally, like what I wanted to do and what I wanted to accomplish, and then trying to find out what I wanted to major in and finding out what I wanted to study first, and then yes, you have to evaluate all the schools and make sure you do your research. And the one thing I can tell you about the recruiting process is what I heard from a lot of coaches, and what I did is I wrote a lot of hand letters to coaches. A lot of people, they just send videos or email, and I think that writing a hand message is more personable, and coaches will remember you that way instead of having another video pop up in their email. I'm not saying that videos are bad in any way, but if you just do that little extra thing of writing a letter to that coach, they will remember you, and they will remember that, because not a lot of people do that anymore.
Yep. No, that's great advice. Um, yeah, and a lot of people come out and say that they were trying to make what they were doing more personable. I like that approach. It shows that you made an effort, which is and a lot of these recruiting places that are helping kids now, they send out mass emails that are the same and generic to everyone. That I've had so many college coaches say I don't even read them. I just delete it because yeah, it's just so generic. So what travel softball team did you play for?
The longest travel team that I played for was called Derby City Crush, based out of Kentucky. I was on the Louisville Slugger team when I was 8. That's when I started travel ball. And then I moved to Derby City Crush. I played from 12U all the way up until 18U. So I was with that organization. So mind you, my the Louisville Slugger team that I was on, I was from there from 8 to 10U. And my 10U year, I thought I was doing pretty good. I was starting outfield. I was playing right field. I liked the team. And then, one day I got a call from the coach. And she said, "Hey, I need you and your parents to come over. I have something I need to talk to you about." And we went over there, and she said, "I'm going to have to ask you to leave my team." And we're like, "What?" Like I'm doing good. Like I'm starting and I'm playing. Like what's the deal? And she said, "You're causing a lot of drama on my team, and I don't like drama. And there's parents complaining that a girl with one arm is starting over their daughter, and they don't understand why. And I don't like this drama, so I'm going to have to ask you to leave." And so, being the people that we are and how I was taught to turn the other cheek and, to leave. And we did. And did it hurt? Yes. But it made a lot of fuel to my fire. Like it made me want to get better, where I can prove to those people that I deserve to be out there and I deserve to play. And then going to the Crush team, my dad saw that there was a tryout to be on this team. So he called the coach, not telling this coach that I had one arm either. So I showed up to this tryout, and I'm out there. And the coach, he's just hitting me balls, and he saw that I could actually field and throw. So he started hitting it a little bit harder just to see like what I could do. And he was just like my college coach. He looked past my arm, and he saw me as a true individual and a true player. And he gave me all the belief in myself, and he believed that I could do it. And so I stuck with him. I played with him all the way up until 16 years. And then my dad again took over my travel team, and then I played from 16 to 18 years.
I don't have video on.
Yep. Sorry about that. No, Katelyn, that's that. I guess it was a blessing in disguise.
It was. It was.
And it's terrible what some coaches, and I think a lot of times, and if the girls, I'm sure it's hard to understand, but I think a lot of times the things that are said, people don't think about the impact that they have on young people, and it can really hurt, and it can really destroy people's dreams when somebody says something so frivolous.
Yeah, and I think travel ball was a way where I let my playing do the talking. I was always that way. I was always a leader by example, a leader of doing things, and I always had. It wasn't just the coaches. Um, it was also like the parents, like saying like she can't hit, she can't throw. Literally, coaches moving their players in to where when I was up to bat, I could give the third baseman a high five because she was so close to me. And so I would use that, like again, like I said, as fuel to get better and to prove to them that I could play. And I think that just let me open up and embrace my skills and just show them that I could do it.
You know, that's great. So, what was the transition like from going from high school and going into college? Was it a big difference for you? Was it easy? Was it more challenging than you expected?
I would say it was quite a bit of a challenge. Most of you, when you get to high school on your high school team, you're probably the top player, one of the best players on your high school team. But when you go to college, everybody there on your team was one of the top players on their high school team. So you're competing against really good players to get that starting position. Um, and I just think that the pace of the game changed a lot for me. It was a lot quicker. So I learned, high school was good. Travel ball was a little bit better, but college, the speed of the game is quick, and that's what I really enjoyed and what I really had to adapt to.
That's awesome. So, how did you make the transition from Cincinnati Christian University to Kentucky Christian?
So going to my freshman year of college at Cincinnati, um, we were practicing a lot, doing well. We had a scrimmage game leading up to our first actual collegiate game, and Coach Gardner came up to me and a few of our freshmen and said, "Hey, you guys have been working very hard in the fall, and I think you deserve your first at bat." So I get up there and I hit the ball right to the shortstop. And knowing me, I do everything 100%. So my goal was to beat that ball to first base. So I'm running down first base, and I do kind of like a Bryce Harper lunge. And my left foot hit the top of the bag, but my body went forward and my leg didn't go with me. And I fell to the ground, and I heard pop, pop, pop. And instantly in my head, I knew something was wrong. I didn't want to believe it, but I got up and I told Coach Gardner, "Man, that was an awful hit. Can I have a retry?" And he said, "Well, if you can walk from first base to home, you could." So I took one step and I fell again, and I knew it was done. I ended up tearing my ACL, my meniscus, and I sprained all the ligaments around my knee. So basically, my freshman year was gone before I ever got to play my first college game. I had a red shirt that year, and so that was a very big eye opener for me, and a very big challenge, another challenge that I had to overcome. Doctors said it would be a 9-month recovery, and you know like I said, I do everything 100%, and I wanted to get back, and I told him no, it'll be a 5-month recovery, and I ended up coming back in 4.5 months to play softball. But even through that obstacle, I mean, I still had people, my own teammates, doubting me and hating on me. My teammates said, if you didn't try as hard, that wouldn't have happened. If you didn't go 100%, you would never have got injured. So I had a lot of my teammates saying negative things to me, that it was my fault that I got injured. So that was a struggle in itself. But then the next year I came back. I was an all conference player at CCU. And then in 2019, our school shut down. And that was due to money issues. We were a very small Christian university. So we did not have a lot of money, and it ended up shutting down. And then I transferred to Midway University because we got an email in October, and I had from October to December to figure out if I was going to play softball again or if I was going to have to sit out another year. And I did not want to sit out another year. So I was fortunate enough to play at Midway University. I was playing for 20 games, and then COVID happened. So COVID
Oh,
shut down everything.
yep.
And then Coach Gardner from CCU went to Kentucky Christian in Grayson, Kentucky. And I followed him and I wanted to play for him again. And so I ended up playing at Kentucky Christian where I became an All American. And I ended up playing 6 years of college ball and I graduated with 2 degrees. And I got my master's in Christian leadership. So it all, in the end, it all worked out and it was all part of God's plan.
Well, that's awesome how that all worked out for you. So,
Thank
and
you.
then you get to play with your coach again.
I
So,
did.
yeah, he must have thought a lot of you to bring you there and be with him again too.
Yeah.
Very cool. No, that's a great story. So in college, what was, I know you kind of touched on the transition between it, but how did your college team do at Kentucky Christian?
We did well. We went through, so Coach Gardner, we had him, and then we had some other coaching changes. And so we had to learn how to adapt to that, which was fine. Um, I would say that our team, we learned how to be selfless. Going into college, it's good. Don't get me wrong. It's really good to have goals, and I had goals, and I wrote it down. And I wanted to be an All American. That was my goal for college. But when you get to college, you're not a self player. Like you don't play for yourself. You're playing as a team. And we just learned how to be a selfless player and play for each other, and learning what it took to win. So what we needed to win.
Yep.
So
Yeah. No, that's and it's special when you when you have a team like that. Um, I know that that doesn't happen very often, and when you do find a team that you're able to, you know, I would say, relax or you're enjoying the moment with your team and you're all cheering one another on. That's a special team with no drama and being supportive of one another. Um, so after after college, you graduated. You got 2 degrees and a master's. And I know that you went and are you still working with NFCA currently?
I am currently still working with the NSCA, yes. And then since the movie came out in September, I've had a lot of opportunities to go around and speak and share my testimony and just share about my life in softball and just
Where does she live?
my
I don't know.
adversity.
Okay, sorry about that. And I know that your father started this new company and you're a part of it. The sports camps.
Pavey and Co.
Yep.
Sports
Yep.
camps, yes.
Yep. And we've got the background here, so I'll kind of flip over and get myself out of the way. But you guys are doing. I think this is your first camp. Is it the
This is our
first one?
first camp. Yeah,
Okay.
correct.
Yep. And it'll be here in Holt, Michigan, at Holt High School, and it's going to be featured Katelyn Pavey as well as Jen Gilbert, who's a professional softball player and Olympic medalist for Team USA. And I know this is a fantastic opportunity. The Michigan College Exposure Tournament has been around for a number of years, and we have numerous college coaches that come to that. And now having this exposure clinic attached to this, I think, is going to be an enormous opportunity for the community and for kids here in the Mid Michigan area because there's nothing like this in the Mid Michigan area for kids to get this type of exposure. So, and that's on Thursday, July 18th. And if you go to Pavey and Company into their website, you can register there. This is posted all over on social media as well. So if you have any questions, you can reach out to Hang Tough or Pavey and Company to get additional information. But Katelyn will be there and Jen Gilbert, and we're looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a pretty unique opportunity. and it's cool to see, you're going to be involved with that and get it going, and then start doing camps all over the place, I bet.
Yeah, we
Well,
are. And the cool thing is, I get to jump in and help with the drills and a little bit of instruction, and I also give a little talk too at the camp. So it's gonna be really great. Softball gave a lot to me, and I just want to give back to the game. And just keep growing it.
yeah, and that's special and it's admirable to do something like that. Um, and you recognize the gifts that you were given, and helping somebody else achieve their goals. Um, all right, so there's that, and then I know in Hang Tough, all of our Hang Tough girls, we have Katelyn will be coming up on February 24th, the Capital City Baseball Kingdom. I think it's from 4 to 7 on the 24th, and doing a clinic there just with our group, and then she'll be speaking to the group as well. So we have questions, and I think we're a little early right now, so maybe I'll start off with a question for you, Katelyn. Um, as a softball player, and you're 25 now, and looking back on it, if you were say 12, 14, a youth softball player, what would you tell yourself now after all the things that you've learned? What do you think is like some of the most important lessons that you've gained and learned from with your experience?
It's a good question. Um, might have to get back to you on that question. Let me think about it for a second.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I love the perseverance that you've had, and drive, and maybe that's something that you've gotten from your family too, like
Yeah,
from your dad.
like you mentioned before, I was always to have that I can mentality. Never say that I couldn't do something. No matter what it is, you're always gonna have what I call can't moment. I can't moments. Because I used to say the acronym of can't: continue adapting, never turning back. So you continue to adapt to any situation that you're thrown, and you don't go back to your old ways. There's always a way that you can find to push and overcome that adversity to become successful. And that's why I chose the game of softball. Because softball is a game of failure, and you're gonna fail way more times than you succeed, and that's just like life. And I liked how that softball gave me that obstacles and that adversity, and I just loved finding ways to overcome and become successful.
Well, I really like that. Continuing to continue adapting, never turning back. That's pretty cool. That's the first time I've ever heard that. Um, what about the movie? How was your experience going through that process? I know it's not something that you volunteered, that you really wanted to do, out of the gate, because you didn't want any type of special treatment.
Right.
And I guess, did you think your story was, initially, did you think your story was worth telling?
No, I did not. And if you don't mind, I'm going to kind of share how the story came about or how the movie came about. So,
Okay.
as you know, I have one arm. I was conceived out of wedlock, and what that means, my parents were not together; they were not married. And I was conceived due to an affair. And for the longest time, my parents struggled with thinking that their sins caused me to be born with one arm. And so the movie I Can is my church made it. I attend First Capital Christian Church in Corden, Indiana. And our mission is to help people find and follow Jesus. We want people to be inspired, and we want people to get to know the Lord. So this movie is a movie of redemption and how God does not make mistakes. That's the biggest theme in this movie. God does not make mistakes. He knows you, He formed you, and He has a plan for you. And I truly believe that. And this movie of redemption is how I overcame what they thought was their biggest sin, and to be becoming something good and becoming something for God's kingdom. And so that's how the movie came about. And We filmed this entire movie on a church budget. We filmed it in 19 days. We had some name brand actors. We had Coach Mark Richt, Georgia football. We had Cameron Arnett, who's in many Christian films. Daniel Roebuck, who played Grandpa Munster in the new Munsters movie. He was also in Matlock. So we had a lot of different actors helping us out, and our community helped us out. My family and I did play some roles in the film. You will see most of us in there. I played all the softball action, so you would see in the movie that was all me doing all the softball. And so it was a really neat experience. But no, my pastor came up to my family and I and posed the question, can we make a movie about your family? I think it would be a really good opportunity to help people out. And my dad, he first said no, because how could you, display your sins all over the big screen and everybody's going to know what you did. And Tyler was like, but man, if you could just help one person, be inspired, help one person find and follow Jesus, would you do it? And my dad said yes. But then they had to come to me. And I said no 3 times. And like you said, Scott, no, I did not think I had a story to share. I play softball and I have one arm, but so what? I just thought there was other people's stories that needed to be told. But I became to realize that, God gave me these gifts and God gave me this opportunity to use as a platform to glorify Him and to help inspire people. So Tyler posed that question, if you could help one person find and follow Jesus and inspire one person, would you do it? And I said yes. And so that's how the movie came about.
So and I think you've definitely done that. So all the feedback and things that I've heard has been very positive. So I think that's a great opportunity, and it's turned into now, these sports camps and, helping young women and athletes achieve more. Yeah, I think it's going to continue to be a blessing in the long run.
Thank you.
So we'll go ahead. We've got about 15 minutes left, so we typically turn it over to the girls or families to ask questions and have Katelyn respond. If you can just do me a favor, when you ask a question, let everyone else have an opportunity to ask a question after you before you ask a second one. And it'll all work out here in the end. So I'll go ahead and open it up to the group. We have any questions?
Yeah. Did you ever bat?
Yes. So I was the leadoff hitter on my high school and my college team. So what I first did was I was a switch hitter. So I would hold the bat on the right hand side. I would use my short arm to balance the bat. But what I came to realize was when I loaded and went to swing, because I dropped my arm, I would always drop my back shoulder and I would either be under the ball and miss it completely, or I would barely hit it and I had no power whatsoever. But on the left side, using my lead arm, I found that I was more straight up. I was more balanced, and I had a lot more bat speed and a lot more bat control getting to the ball. And I was a lot stronger. So I kind of used a backhand approach like you would in tennis. And then I also picked up slapping. I thought slapping would be another way because I was quick. I thought it'd be another way that I could get recruited. And so I was a triple threat, if you call it. I could bunt, I could slap, and I could hit for power.
Okay, thank you.
So I'm really inspired by everything you talked about today, but what was the best catch you made in the outfield?
The best catch I made in the outfield. Ooh.
You run into any walls or fences?
Oh, I did. I tore down walls. So yeah, in college we played on a minor league field, and we had a temporary fence set up. And one day I ran back. A girl obviously hit a home run, but I we were down, and I really did not want this ball to land. And I ran into the fence, and I took the entire fence with me. So that was kind of funny. No, I think one of the best catches that I ever made in the outfield. Nobody ever thought that I was going to get to this ball, but we played in an indoor dome in Chicago, and I was running back, and the field was pretty deep, and I was running back to the fence and caught it on the fence, and I thought that was a pretty good catch.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Thank you.
Do we have any other questions out there?
I do have a question. I'll chime in. First and foremost, I just want to say you are incredible. And I mean, to hear your story and your drive and determination and how many obstacles you had put in your way and how many people doubted you. And I mean, it's just incredibly inspiring and it's amazing. So I really appreciate you taking the time to spend with us tonight and tell your story. I guess my question for you would be who was your hero, or like who did you look up to as you were growing up?
Well, my dad's on here if he could, he's Eric Pavey up there, but I really looked up to my dad. He like introduced me to the sport, and he made me be the player that I am. Like, he was the first one to believe in me. He never let me give up. He never let me quit. He was out there in the yard with me, throwing balls literally at me when I was scared of balls. He wanted me to be the best that I could be. So I looked up to my dad, and I looked up to a lot to my family members. I give them thanks. I know they're not on here, but they sacrificed a lot for me to be able to be where I am at and to play in college. But if you're looking for like a famous person, I would say Tim Tebow. He was a good figure for me to look out to spiritually and as an athlete. I loved what he stood for, and I love that he always had negative comments going towards him. He was always doubted, but he never let that affect him, and I really looked up to him for that.
That's awesome. Thank you.
Yeah. Sorry. I was just going to say, no pressure. Your dad's listening in. Yeah. Go ahead. I'm sorry to interrupt.
I was wondering if you have to play a traveling team in high school to play college softball.
No, I don't think you have to play on a travel team to play college softball. I mean, I played travel softball, but I don't think, like, what I learned is what coaches look for the most. You know, you can't teach heart, you can't teach attitude, and you can't teach effort. And that's what I learned going to camps and things, and just listening to coaches. A coach can teach you the fundamentals, and they can teach you how to be an athlete, but they can't teach you that heart and that drive to want to play and to want to get better. So I personally think that it's on you, and it's on you to work at that, and you wanting to be at that level and you wanting to get better. I don't think that you have to play travel softball necessarily.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm a slapper and a drag bunter and 10U. Did you drag bunt?
Yes, I did. I drag bunt. Did a lot of bunt for base hits. Sacrificed a lot. Suicide squeeze. I did a lot of things. And being a leadoff hitter and a slapper, as a leadoff hitter and a slapper, your goal is to get on base. And you're wanting to get on base so that you can score and that someone can hit you in. So anything that I was told, yes, I would do it. I did that a lot.
Hey, Katie, we want to appreciate you coming on and helping us out. And we know you're coming to Michigan to help us out. But my question actually is for your dad, if he could chime in. Being a dad of a youngster, Stacia and I are coaches for Anaya, and we'd like to hear what Dad has to say about coaching their own daughter. If he could chime in, or maybe you could give some advice on what it's like to be a parent of a player.
I'm actually bowling, so I don't think you can hear me real well. So I apologize if you can't hear me. Quick answer: it's a dream to coach your own player, your own kid, but it's also a curse because other players, other parents are going to look at you and think you're doing favors for your daughter. So I think in essence, that's why I pushed her so hard, was to make sure she's the best on the field, and there were no questions or no doubt when that came about. But I just think, the more that you can spend with your kid, the better they're going to be as far as being able to contribute to a team, being able to be raised the way you want them to be raised, and be able to do what they need to do for the team. So I think, staying involved in your kid's life is never a bad thing.
Thank you so much, Eric. And we look forward to seeing you guys in March, I believe it is. February.
Next week.
Yeah, it's coming up quick. You have another question out there with the group?
I have one more question.
Go ahead.
If you could go back into your college or softball career, would you change or do anything differently?
No, I would not. And I get this question a lot, especially like I had people ask me, if you could have two arms, would you? And now as I think about it, I say no, because, growing up as a limb different athlete was a lot different. And I felt like I had to put in a lot of extra time to perfect the game than a lot of people. And I had to work extra hard than a lot of people. And I think that if I didn't have the one arm, I don't think I would have worked as hard, or I wouldn't be where I'm at today, because I didn't push myself that hard and didn't have a reason to do that. And if I could change my college experience, no, I would tear my ACL again. I would go through every single thing that I've went through, because in the end, it was all God's plan. It was all God's purpose. And it ended up in my favor. If I didn't lose, if I didn't injure myself and get that extra year to play, I would have never became an All-American. When I lost that redshirt year and COVID gave me an extra year, I ended up being able to play at Kentucky Christian and accomplishing my goal to become an All-American player, and it gave me the opportunity to get 2 degrees. So I would not change a thing that happened to me. I just think that, it was God's will, and it all worked out in the end.
I really, I read a quote that you provided, and it was, the only disability is a bad attitude. And I thought that was a really good quote. So,
I mean, a lot of people, see me as having a quote unquote disability because of my arm. And I never saw myself as having a disability. It's just a different ability. And like you said, the only disability in life is a bad attitude. And coaches, will look past that. And if you have a bad attitude, for example, if you're yelling at your parent to get you a Gatorade in the dugout, and college coaches there recruiting you, they're just going to turn around and walk away. I mean, they recruit players for being a person first, too. I mean, they look how you act around others. They look how you treat people. And they want good young women in their program. They don't want anybody, with a bad attitude, because one bad attitude is going to bring a whole team down. And it's just like a trifle effect. One bad attitude makes the whole team have a very bad negative mood. You just need to have a good attitude, because you can't coach that, and you give a lot of effort. And if you love softball and you have the heart for it, continue to, play for that, and play for the young girl inside of you that just wants to get to that next level, like fall in love with the game. And that's why you started playing, because you love it. Softball is fun, and you should have fun.
that's so true.
I have a question. Did
Did you feel like you faced discrimination when you played in high school because of your faith?
In high school, no. I don't think I faced discrimination. No, not through high school. Personally, no, I don't think so. I think my faith was there in high school, but I really didn't strengthen my faith until I got to college. So whenever I had that ACL injury, when I said it opened my eyes, it really made me see that I was working so hard to get to this goal to play college softball that I was focused solely on softball and that I lost all sight of God. Whenever God gave me the gifts and the opportunity to play this game, why am I not using it for His glory? And it made me realize that I needed to be doing that. And I think my faith did get stronger because in college, after the injury and after I healed, I started playing for Him. And I started with my actions and my words. I said, Lord, I prayed this prayer before every game. Lord, please let everything that I speak and everything that I do glorify You. And if someone's out there in the stands that did not know You or is struggling with their faith, if they just looked at me, they could see You on the field. And I just played for Him after that. And that helped strengthen my faith.
Thank you.
I have a question. What would be your number one tip to a new travel player?
Number one tip to a new travel player. Well, one, don't be intimidated by other people. Don't try to, don't be intimidated. What I mean is don't be scared to go out there and show them who you are and what you can do. You need to go out there, give 100% effort, play into the very last out. Just don't be scared of what other people think is a big thing for me, because going to a lot of tryouts, it was kind of intimidating. Having not played in travel before, and other kids, you're thinking that they're better than you are, when you have talent and when you have potential and when you have all the gifts that you have. You just need to go out there and not being scared to showcase that, and just give 100% effort and have fun. Like I said, you just need to have a good attitude.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I had a question. Did you have any thoughts or songs or things that you said to yourself before you went up to bat or just to go on the field?
Thoughts or songs? Before I went up to bat, I took a deep breath. I realized that softball is a lot more mental than it is physical. In college, we did a lot of mental training. In high school, we did a lot of mental training for softball. And learning that if you take a deep breath, it calms your body completely, and it helps you stay focused at the task at hand. So what I would do is I would take a deep breath before I got up to bat. And the only thing that I would say to myself before I stepped in the box was see ball, hit ball. Simple as that. You see the ball, you hit the ball. And obviously, I would go and look at where everybody was playing me and what I needed to do. But those two things, take a deep breath, and I would just say see ball, hit ball. And a lot of the things I would write, you can write anything. I would write a Bible verse on my bat, or I would write something under my hat. Just little reminders. I had things written on my glove of just little reminders, especially when I was in the outfield on my glove, I had have fun. And then under my hat, I would have a Bible verse, or on my bat, I would have something to look at that would let me refocus, calm my body down, and just focus at the task at hand.
That's very cool. Any other questions?
You talked about
Yep, go ahead.
people feeling that it was unfair that you got a starting position or things like that. Did that make you want to play more or made you want to maybe play less, or did it affect that at all?
Yeah, it affected my mood. It hurt a lot because I was starting and I didn't know why they didn't want me to be out there and they didn't want me to play. And I knew that it was because of my arm. And I knew that people just didn't people can be rude. That's the bottom line. People can be rude and they just say what they want to say. And like Scott said, they don't know how it affects that other person. But I think it made me want to work harder and made me want to play even more because when they doubted me that much, I just wanted to go out there and show them that I deserved to play and I deserved to be out there. So it just fueled my fire and made me work even harder. You know, then like I said, in the backyard, I would have my own practice after practice. I played multiple sports. I played basketball. I played volleyball. Played softball. So in the off season of softball, I would go outside at 5 in the morning and set up my bow net and hit, get 100 cuts in before school because I knew I wanted to perfect softball so much and I wanted to be so good at this game and show people that I could play that I was out there every morning hitting and perfecting the game. So I think it made me want to be better and play more.
All right, we're going to do one more question with the group, and then we're going to let Katelyn go because it's getting a little bit past 9 o'clock now. Any other questions from the group? If not, I've got one more question for you, Katelyn. In your opinion, what do you think about our Chalk Talks?
I like them. I enjoy them. I think you get, with all the people that you bring in, you get a totally different perspective from everybody. And I think it's a good opportunity for young athletes to learn and to grow in the game, and they can use what the speakers spoke about and apply it to their own life. And then just they can work at the game and they can work on how to perfect their game and get to the level that they want to get to. So I think it's really, really good. It's pretty neat too that you have there was like 60 people on here, so that was really, really neat.
Yep. Yeah, 60 families. So yeah, I know a lot of our families they look forward to these nights and they all sit around and they watch it together. So I think that's a cool thing too.
Yeah, you can never stop learning. So listening to all these people, you will gain a lot of knowledge and a lot of things that you can take and a lot of things that you can apply. So I think it's really good what you're doing.
We appreciate it. And we really appreciate your time tonight and you doing this for the kids. So I do really appreciate it. And we're really looking forward to the clinic here coming up. It's about a week away, week and a half away.
Super soon.
Yep.
It's exciting.
Yep. That'll be a lot of fun. Okay. Well, that's it then for tonight. And again, thank you, Katelyn. And just want to say, if everybody wants to kind of just chime in and say, thank you or good night. And we will talk to everybody later.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Katelyn. God bless you. We'll see you in a week.
Yep. See you in a week.
Thank you, Katelyn.
Thank you.